Hello, welcome to the Pint Patter podcast, where our patters pish, but our points aren't. To introduce ourselves, I'm Caden, and I am joined by my co-host, Dino.
Hello. We're back again after a wee short break.
A wee hiatus.
A small hiatus, but we're back, and we're back with a pint. Just to start the episode off.
Ooh. It's giving me fucking PTSD. After a lot of heavy drinking we had for the past 2 weekends.
What's there? Oh, yeah.
But this episode we'll be tackling a few topics. The main one being intellectual properties with great replayability. So it could be movies, TV shows, games, books, like anything that has like some sort of replayability or repetition for you on a fairly consistent manner. So, would you like to start us off?
Yes, sure. I think first thing I have that I'm going to say is the game series Borderlands.
Okay.
I'm going to sort of mesh them together, both Borderlands 1, 2, pre-sequel, and the new one, Borderlands 3. I would say they're all just incredibly replayable. And I've sunk tons of hours. But yeah, because they're looter shooters as well.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you've got the story to it, the story aspect, and for many, that'll get quite tiresome the more you're playing it. But
yeah,
and it is a controversial one, especially with the new Borderlands 3. But putting the story aside, and I do enjoy the story very much, the whole aspect of just there's millions of guns, millions of possible different combinations that you could get. Like no two guns are really going to be the same unless you duplicate them or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's tons of different ways that you can play them, and I've seen tons of YouTubers as well, and they're doing these like really hard challenges where it's like, oh, can you complete the game while only using rocket launchers or stuff like this.
Yeah.
So it's entirely up to yourself and how you want to play through the story, and it goes on past just the one playthrough. You've got up to 3 playthroughs where it scales to your level, and then you hit like the max level.
Yeah.
And even then, you can still keep going and grinding out for the best guns in the game and trying to get the best stats on those guns.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm a bit parched. I think I'll have a drink myself actually.
Oh, aye. Oh,
nice Pepsi Max. All right, for me, I'll go with a game as well. I'll say a more simple of the games I have is the Telltale games. Like, my most replayed one, or at least back in the day, was The Wolf Among Us. It's one of the ones you didn't play.
Yeah.
And I just think the whole aspect of like being given multiple choices, though a lot of the time they don't ultimately mean anything unless you choose like a very big difference. I noticed in The Wolf Among Us there was quite a few big differences throughout the season you'd play. But I just really enjoy like being able to make your character like a dickhead or the nicest guy, or in very odd cases just a guy who doesn't speak at all. So with The Wolf Among Us, like the character you play as, he mostly is a dick whenever he speaks anyway. Most people will think he's a dick.
Yeah.
But then you play the likes of The Walking Dead, where if you're Lee, you can be a fucking bitch to other people, and they will be like, "You're a cunt," you know that. And then if you're nice, it's the whole, "Oh, you're nice, Lee. You've always been good." Or if you're silent, people are just like, "Lee, you've never had anything to do with us. You don't speak to us." It's like you see the real differences between the games depending on the main character you play as. Like the Batman Telltale games, like you have to be this like stoic man. But I've always just liked replaying the Telltale games with like different playthroughs, with different like reactions, what people remember differently in that. Like recently, one I did was the Borderlands Telltale games, where I replayed through that again. But
Mm.
on my first playthrough, I had Fiona, I think her name was,
Yes, it was.
be the bad guy. Like, she's like a bitch to people. Whereas the other guy, Reese, is the nice guy. He's like the, hey,
Hmm.
I'm nice, haha. But on my replay, I had it so it was reversed. The moral compass was sort of reversed, where uh, Fiona was like nice to everybody, including Reese, and Reese was the like cunt. I always thought that was just an interesting take.
Yeah, you can choose different options, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you have another game yourself, or?
Yeah, I've got one more game written down, and it's the the whole zombies mode across the Call of Duties,
Oh, aye.
specifically the Treyarch games, because they're the they're the best ones. They're the ones that stand tall, you know, starting from World War being the
Oh,
first,
aye.
and then I think I properly got into it from when Black Ops came out, playing Kino all the time, and then I remember when the first DLC was coming out. Um,
Oh, Ascension.
it was it was a school night actually, and
Mhm.
ended up staying up past midnight so that we could download the DLC. And the first thing we did was play Ascension, the new zombies map, because we were so engrossed in
Oh
playing
yeah.
this mode. And even now, I could jump on and play for hours and hours and
Mhm.
keep going, because I don't know what it is. Like, every game can be similar, but you've got tons of maps, and there's just some sheer enjoyment out of trying to last as long as you can, you know,
Yeah.
trying to like upgrade your weapons to get into a
If you
point that
can
you
like
can.
memorize the patterns and
Mhm.
the parts that you need to get and the random like
Yeah.
stuff. Like that's the thing with Call of Duty Zombies. It's also a very like thing I hold dear to me in replayability as well. Is when you go to watch like streamers who do it. Like we watch one called Mr. T Lexify, and
Yeah.
he streams zombies a lot of the time, and it's mainly just doing Easter eggs or getting around
Hmm.
100s. But you take note is the casual player will love trying to get high rounds, whereas the more intimate player with the game who likes it will do the lore thing, the Easter eggs, the building up for the storyline stuff, which is
Hmm.
a lot more complicated than just doing the training method of hoarding
Yeah.
zombies and killing them and waiting for the round to end, which in itself can be fun because back in the day, like back in Ree's day, which is uh was that Black Ops? No, that was World at War. Ree's was
That was World at War. Yeah, the
uh
last
like
map.
before you had training, which was just looping around zombies and like escaping through the
Hmm.
hordes of them. Is you'd stay up on a catwalk and you'd camp, hoping
The
to God
catwalk strat.
that your sleight of hand and juggernaut will allow you to live as you reload your bloody Browning.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
The randomness of like what gun you could get from the box as well can
yeah,
slightly change your gameplay. You know,
yeah. It's just
there's a lot to it, and yeah, obviously you get the people who'll try and go for the high rounds, and you know that's one way of playing. And then yeah, you've got the Easter eggs, which especially with the more modern maps, like say from Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3. I'm not going to include Black Ops 4 because let's forget about that one.
I don't even know what you're talking
But
about.
Black Ops 2 with like um, Mob of the Dead, Buried, Origins, and
Yeah.
then the whole Black Ops 3, they did put in like a lot more stuff for like that you can collect towards getting Easter eggs and getting wonder weapons, you
Hmm.
know, building the shield and trying to find out where all the part locations are, stuff like that. Um, so yeah, you can jump on the maps and try and go for these Easter eggs, and some maps are really tough.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
oh, some of them are really tough. Some of them are much easier. Um,
I think
like I've
Buried's one's
done,
really hard. Is it
yeah,
not?
yeah, buried ones.
They do
You
Morse
start
code
certain
and math.
steps.
God.
Ridiculous. But yeah, there's just something about that that's
Yeah.
always brings you
If
back.
you just know what you're doing, you'll be fine. But if you're a casual player, there's like certain maps you just
Much
don't
harder.
know what's going on. Like
Yeah,
Moon. Like if you go in as a casual player, you have no idea what's going on.
yeah. Some maps are regarded as like the best among many players, but for casuals, they'll hate them. You
Like
know, like Origins.
apparently casuals, a majority of them like Transit, even though it is by
Yeah,
far like if we're not counting like Black Ops 4, is the worst zombies map, the
put
absolute
it in the
worst.
trash.
Put in the
Put it in the
trash.
trash. Get rid of
Trash it.
that.
Aye.
Get rid of the dog, the denizens. Don't need that. What else have you got then?
My other game is the Batman Arkham games. So this includes like the Rocksteady ones and the I can't mind who did Origins. I know it was a different company. It might have been
Mhm.
Montreal Rocksteady. I'm not sure, but I just love playing those games. I played them so many times. Platinum them. Got the max achievements on them. Xbox. Like when I first went into it, I had Asylum. I don't think I completed it immediately. Then I got Arkham City. Then for some reason I got stuck on a part in Arkham City, so I went back to Asylum, completed that, completed Arkham
Mhm.
uh, City when I went back to that as well, and I was just hooked on replaying those two things because you had all the challenges. You had the challenge maps that you could either play
Yeah.
as like I think on Asylum you could play as the Joker or Batman. Then on City it was Nightwing, Robin, Catwoman, and Azrael. I think it was no Azrael was Night. It was Night. Arkham Knight had a lot more people you could play as. Like all the games had these challenge maps that had great replayability with them. But it wasn't just that. I liked going through the story, doing all the specific maps, just going through Gotham City
Yeah.
or the Asylum. Especially with Arkham Knight. The Arkham Knight is a stunning game. I'm surprised at how it can run with the amount of stuff that's going on in the map. But it's a game that has no reason to be sort of like playable in general. It's like a good game to go through for the first time. But I just find myself going back to it and just going through the story and like going through the games in the order that they came out. So like each of them are very different in terms of like atmospheres as well. But Asylum having a more like
Mhm.
creepy vibe to it. City being more of like a dreary like people are here, they're trapped. Origins being like obviously it's Christmas and Batman's new, and Arkham Knight being like this entire city is fucked. You're done. What are you gonna do? But as a whole, I think just it being Batman in general what brings
Mhm.
me back to it. Just going into a string of combos, just breaking people's backs and jaws. It's just so satisfying.
Sounds satisfying about it.
Satisfying. Aside from games, have we got anything then aside from games?
Aside from games, 'cause I obviously don't want to just litter the list with games because there's more
Aye.
than that, you know.
Aye.
So in terms of rewatchability, I have Supernatural
Mm.
down. Now I have watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine more times.
Mhm.
So I was sort of torn between the two because they're probably my two favorite shows, you know, as mentioned before. But with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it as I was rewatching it for like the fourth and onwards time,
Mhm.
there's certain points of the show that comes up, like certain storylines or just certain scenes, you know. So stuff between like the whole Boyle and Gina thing where they had like a fling, you know.
Yeah.
That whole part, and there's like the odd parts here and there that it'll come out, and I'll be like, oh, it's this bit, you know. There's the odd parts that I'm like, oh, you know, they're not as good on the rewatch.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot to that show that makes it replayable, and as to why I have uh, seen it many times. But I think Supernatural holds sort of more of a rewatchability. Um,
I
just with
I get you.
the story in it is a lot more gripping. Even the first time watching through, you know,
Mhm.
I obviously have no clue as to what's going to happen with it, like who's
Yeah.
coming in character wise, you know. So the possibilities are endless. You know, I'm sat there thinking, oh, what's going to happen? I'm gripped. I'm absolutely gripped. I keep watching more. You know, staying up past God knows o'clock just to find out what's happening in the next episode. But even on the rewatches, the story is still just as gripping.
Mhm.
I still love it, and the humor that's littered in amongst the episodes, and even the filler episodes, you know, where it's a bit more
Mhm.
fun and playful. than some of the more serious episodes. There's just something nice about it. The jokes don't get old, really. They're not overplayed. They still humour me as much as they did before.
Yeah, I get you.
And it's a very long show too.
So it's not like 15 seasons. It currently is not ending.
15 seasons.
My God.
Yeah, 15th season is the finale. The absolute grand finale.
Oh my. Long running show.
Yeah, so once I finish that, once it's fully done, I'll be rewatching it, I can tell you that.
I think your point there about how Brooklyn Nine-Nine, there's like certain points where you're like, meh with the story or rewatching, and with Supernatural you're gripped on it. This perfectly segues into what I'm about to talk about. Is I'm currently rewatching a show, of which there's points where I'm like, I can't be arsed sitting here watching it, like 2 hours of stuff that I could read the source material for in minutes to get to the good parts, which I'm doing. But my show that I have with the most replayability that I have, or even just franchise, is One Piece. It is a very long show, very long manga. It is currently standing on 935 episodes since 1999 it's debuted, which that's a lot. And honestly, I've rewatched that show about seven times. I reckon I do that. I did that a lot when I was younger. I don't really do it now because I feel like the more I rewatch something, the less value it'll have. But even now, I'll rewatch it. But I'm trying to stave off it because I'm wanting to buy these like free box sets that are like I think 50 volumes worth. So like covers like 500 chapters of the franchise. So I'm gonna stave off doing that. But I think what grips me about One Piece is its world building, which I've said in a video of my own before is the best thing about it. Is its world. It grips you because it feels like any given time that a character is not on screen, or an island, or a place that's not on screen, there'll be something off screen that you'll be given information on that lets you know that it's still alive. There's still things happening there without the main characters there. That's sort of depth I like from a show and its characters. Is there's always something new with the arcs. There's always something sad. There's a flashback. They're like, oh my god, you're gonna make me cry. God damn it, fuck it, bloody emotions. But that's the thing. There's gonna be at least another 4 to 5, maybe even longer, until it ends. So maybe like a good 25 years worth of stuff to go through again.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. Don't even get me started on JoJo. Pretty sure it's like 30 odd more years. I've been meaning to reread that as well, but I've been waiting for a certain brother to start watching it again with me because he stopped. But One Piece is good. I'm not gonna linger any longer on it because I don't wanna freak people out with my weebinisms.
Yeah, that's the thing with like things that are replayable. You know, there's like the sheer amount of content alone can make it, you know, a lot easier to go through it more than once.
I feel like with anime and stuff, like especially One Piece, when I'm going to re-watch it, they're not really in any like streaming services. So I can't just like click X to put on the next episode like that. I have to go through multiple bloody facets to get the next episode on. Because otherwise, buying like the box sets, I think the box sets, if I were to catch up to the entirety of the show box set wise, is almost like $1,000.
Yeah, it's costly.
Hefty. It's a hefty amount. I'm
not
willing.
I mind going into HMV to grab the Supernatural box set, and obviously that's got a ton of seasons, and it was pricey.
Was it 12?
I think it was like 12. Yeah, 12 seasons at that point when I went to get the box set.
Well, as I said, I'm not going to linger on One Piece, so another one from yourself.
Um, well, see, I listen to an absolute gargantuan amount of music, right?
That's an
So
understatement,
it
mate.
was. Oh, it is. Yeah. Like I've tried to uh, try and think of like what could I pick, because there's a lot of stuff that I re-listen to all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my favorites, but to try and whittle that down to what was the most replayable is very tough
Yeah.
because there's a lot of stuff that's just timeless to me, and then there's stuff that I've just got a personal like a personal attraction with, you know. Um, so I could easily pick, tons of albums and whatnot, but I would say one of the most replayable. Trying to think of like stuff that a lot of people could listen to as well, not just like a personal song, but one that sort of stands out to me that every single time it's on, it just holds the exact same energy that it
Mm-hmm.
did the first time I heard it. It
Yeah.
doesn't let down because there's a lot of stuff that I've blasted. There's one song called "Love" by Strapping Young Lad, right?
Mm.
And I went through a phase where I'd listened to that like for hours on end, like constantly throughout the day, just had it on repeat,
Yeah.
just that song constantly blasting because I think, and I don't listen to anyone near as much now. It's sporadically that I listen to, so that's kind of died down. It's still just as good a song,
Yeah.
but it's died down in terms of how replayable it is to me.
For
But I think
sure.
the number one track I would say, and I could pick tons,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna say it's "Lady" by Mojo,
Mm.
which is an absolute summer anthem, summer tune, and it came out like, let me just check actually.
You're saying the
Uh,
name, and if it's an anthem, then I don't know because you might have to hand it to
you,
me. I'll recognize it, but
yeah,
I
as soon as you hear it, you'll know it.
I'm bad
Um,
for that. Like you'll just say a name, it's like, oh, you mind that song? I'm
but
like,
it's
no.
there's something about that song. It's something about that song. You could hear it anywhere, absolutely anywhere.
It just gives you
You
that
know,
summer
and it's
vibes,
just
gets you into the summer mood.
yeah, it's timeless. It's a timeless classic, released in the year 2000, actually.
It's a bit like a lot of like Christmas songs that just get you into that vibe.
That's
Then there's summer
oh,
songs
Christmas songs.
that aren't like thematically for summer, but then they just get you into that summer mood.
Yeah. Um, but just that song, "Lady" by Mojo,
Yeah,
is it's a timeless classic.
yeah, I get you.
How about you? For you got
For
any for music?
for music, so as you know, I have a complicated relationship with music.
Mm.
Very
Mhm.
neglectful.
Mhm.
Um, I should state my music taste varies from two things. It varies from hardcore metal, well, more death metal, but just like a lot of like heavy metal,
Yeah.
down to gorillas. That's
Mhm.
that's the that's the two way. Anything
The
in
scale.
between, it's just random ass songs that I'll be like, I like that because I seen a music video or it was in a show. Like literally,
Mhm.
you'll be like, "Oh, how'd you know that song?" I'll be like, "I saw it on an episode of Chowder, mate." It's like what? Like Hurt. I didn't hear Hurt before I seen the Logan trailer.
Yeah.
It's a banging song, and so is that's the Johnny Cash one, and the other one by isn't it? You can tell
Nine
me.
Inch Nails.
9 Inch Nails. I was about to say bloody Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe. Monroe.
Marilyn Manson. Marilyn. I'm mixing it up.
Oh my.
I'm doing. But I
Aye.
no. So my thing for music in terms of replayability, because it's mostly playlists I listen to, but for albums and like a band,
Yeah.
Gorillaz is definitely hands down my thing. And even though I could say it is, I don't listen to it that often to warrant it being a replayability thing. But if it
Yeah.
had to be a musical replayability, then it will be Gorillaz because I've listened to all the albums multiple times. Every time I've
Yeah.
listened to like the first album, still amazing. Demon Days, amazing. Plastic Beach, absolute Summer Vibes.
Yeah,
And then you've got like
got quite the
Humans,
collection.
which I'll still like sit through that. I think it's definitely their weakest album for me. Like, there's obviously the side albums they have that aren't like as popular.
Hmm.
I think one that's really got to me is that one of their shorter albums is the Now Now. That's got some
Yeah,
great
the most
replayability.
modern one.
It's for just like 12 songs. It's mad. I really like it, and they're currently doing their wee YouTube series of videos where they're releasing musics.
Yeah, the song bites, the song machine.
Yeah,
Currently, yeah.
I don't think there'll ever be a time where I'm like, I'm not into gorillas. Sorry, but no,
It
I'm
always
definitely.
stands
It'll
top.
always stands top for me. It's my number one band. Yeah, again, I got into because I saw Clint Eastwood's music video. No, what? Wait, what? You only get to music that have like a visual guide to you. No wonder fucking gorillas is your favorite. You pleb. Bloody 2D
Oh,
animated band. But aye, for that's my music stance for replayability.
yeah.
I'm pretty
Well,
sure you have
aside
a.
from my last one. Aside from listening to music, I obviously play as well. And my
No way.
last replayability thing I've got listed is playing guitar. Right,
Aye.
and yeah, there's just something about it. I mean, easy to say as a guitarist, but
Yeah.
there's endless amounts of things I could do when I pick up a guitar. Especially once you know your stuff. There's tons of different um, like theory stuff as well that you can learn and practice. That tons of different things you can practice. Just even the songs that you like, you can learn absolutely anything that your heart desires, really. So
Mhm.
there's such a variety of things to do when you play a guitar, you know, as well as the whole writing aspect. There's there's a lot, tons of notes to hit.
Yeah.
There's something about it, and even having different guitars, um, the difference in the feel between them all is it alone can change. How it feels to actually play. Yeah, you'll
To chew
want to
five
play
gum.
different stuff. How it feels to chew five gum.
Yeah, mate.
But yeah, I mean, something about that. Just
I mean,
playing.
it's definitely a factor in being a musician. Full stop.
Yeah.
Because you need to have the mindset of repetition in the first place. Otherwise, you're getting nowhere.
Hmm.
Unless you're like the Bruce Lee of music. You just pick up anything, and you're like, yeah, man, I know the song already. I just needed to think about it. I've got like a 2000 IQ. What have you got? But it's definitely a thing that you'll definitely like enjoy the
Yeah.
repetition through learning.
It's easy to explain to someone who also plays guitar, and they share that similar feelings than it is to explain to someone uh,
Mhm.
who doesn't feel it the same way, doesn't get the enjoyment out of it. But I would imagine it's very applicable to any instrument, really.
Yeah. Well, I suppose like I get that from coding. When I'm coding and I have to like repeat code, like eventually it just becomes like normal. But it's not.
Hmm.
It's like arbitrary in comparison to like musical repetition where you're making up something and then doing it. Where else I'm like, I remember how to make a script, an open that script,
Yeah.
and I know how to make a header.
Mm. That's another aspect of it, actually, that helps with the whole replayability. Is like the learning aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like seeing yourself making improvements just gives you this sort of accomplishment, this level of satisfaction, and it sort of gives you a drive to like keep pushing, to keep
Yeah.
making progress. And I've got a funny story actually of when I first went to learn guitar, um, and it was my dad who was trying to teach me the a chord. He was trying to teach me the D chord. All right, so he's all right. Put your fingers here and play them. Right, and obviously to start with, like there's a difficulty in getting the notes to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because sometimes your hands can be a bit um, just untrained. You know, it's just they're like hovering over the other notes, and it makes them just bum notes. So trying to get it like clear, so that you're playing the chord properly. And I couldn't do it the first time I tried. I absolutely couldn't. I was getting so frustrated
Mm-hmm.
that I couldn't do this one chord, and I did give up. I gave up on that day, and I put it aside. I was like, no, I don't want to learn guitar. I don't want to learn guitar. You know, I was just angry with it. And I mind like a couple of weeks later, or however long later, and this is way back. Went into music class in primary school, and funny enough, that day they had acoustic guitars.
Hmm.
They brought in wee acoustic guitars for us to learn, and I had like this wee like happy moment. I was like, oh my god, guitars! I know a wee bit. I know the D chord. You know, I know this. Um, and I thought I won't be able to play it. I won't be able to do this again. Picked up the guitar and I went to play it, and just suddenly it just clicked. You know, it worked. I could play the chord clearly,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have any troubles as I did prior. And that in itself just set me off to keep playing. Just that whole like I've made an improvement, you know. And if I just stick by it, then I'll keep improving.
Nice.
So yeah, that's that.
That's not bad. That light bulb moment that changes us.
It was.
We click.
So your
My
last replay.
my last one is a movie that I've watched
Oh.
a lot. Like, there's a lot of movies I could pick from, but one that I can mind that I rewatched a lot, including the franchise itself. Apart from the third one, I need to rewatch that one again. Is Kung Fu Panda.
Oh
Is
yeah.
I had a lot of like replayability in that. Like, I think when I got the second movie when I was about 10, uh, I watched it twice in one day. That's how much like I needed to see this again because I really liked the visuals in it. I really liked the humor and I really liked the writing. And since then, it's almost been an annual thing where I go back to rewatch like those two movies. Not the third one, mostly because I don't think
Mm-hmm.
it's on any streaming service, and if it is, it's because the first one now isn't. So it feels like it's out of order for me, which I'm very
Ah.
methodical with when I'm watching stuff and movies. So I can't just like go like I think I'm gonna watch Doctor Strange or something unless like I'm at a party or something that they've just got on. But it's just a lot of like animated movies in general I rewatch, like How to Train Your Dragon, another one. I rewatch that one
Yeah.
a lot. Like obviously, like if I include like the Transformers movie, I rewatch that a lot. Just I think Kung Fu Panda is like the natural pick because it's something I have consistently watched every year.
Yeah. It is your top pick.
It's my top pick for that. Like replayability, I think it's an important factor in life in general.
Yeah.
And to move us on from there, to move us down into a more numbered sets, we'll go on to our favourite trilogies, which is the next topic
Yeah.
of our chatter. I'll start us off actually.
Go on.
Start
What
us
is your
off.
first?
My first is Men in Black.
Ah.
It is a very, very consistent trilogy in terms of quality. Very good. All three movies I would say are equal in terms of quality. All good rewatchable things. Like I think out of the three, the second one I think I prefer the most, mostly because of the mail room scene. There's certain
Mm-hmm.
parts of that movie that I just find really funny, like when I think is it Agent K or is it Agent J? Agent J is Will Smith's one, isn't it?
I think so.
When he's fighting the guy who's in a trench coat and he's like on a flying saucer in the base, and he just flies into the big like pop up tube things. So like he's trying to get out of it, and it's just such a relatable scene because like you're on a bouncy castle that's deflating and you're trying to get out of it. It's just horrible. whenever you're in some sort of like light bouncy thing, it's such a pain to get off. I always thought it was funny, but I think the trilogy of the whole is really good. Like the first movie is really creepy. It's really like sets up the tone of the film with the cockroach alien. The third one has a really good story as well. It's just a really good trilogy because I think it's the character dynamics and the aliens and what they can do and how creatively they can make aliens and stuff. They have the wee flash drive that erases your memory, but goes on to go with their aesthetic of like they're Men in Black, they're secretive.
Yeah.
It's just a really enjoyable franchise.
It is.
They did a reboot actually, did they not? Yeah, they did it. Men in Black International. I haven't seen that.
That's the one.
With
because it's got
what's her face from Ragnarok and Chris Hemsworth. It's basically the female and Thor from Valkyrie and Thor from Ragnarok.
Yeah. Yeah, I still need to see that as well.
Yeah, might get that at one point. I heard it's okay. I don't think I heard anything bad about it. It's just not like noteworthy from people. But I really think Men in Black's a really good trilogy.
Well, the first trilogy I have is classic, much loved trilogy, Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not too much to say about that one. It's just, if you've seen it, I'm sure a lot of people just love it, and there's something fun about it. The whole time travel and the DeLorean.
Mm-hmm.
The absolute iconic DeLorean. Even like the hoverboard and that, because with the first film, you obviously go back to the future, and the whole plot of that is it's good fun.
That's the title.
And yeah, it's just all three is it's I don't know. It's just very good. I don't know how to explain that it's enjoyable.
I think it was last weekend that somebody was saying to me that I haven't seen the films really. I've seen like clips from all three films. I think when brother was watching it, but I wasn't really a fan of what it looked like, or like I'm not a fan of the look of the DeLorean either, which is like, oh, how could you? It's a DeLorean, sir, thing. But somebody was telling me that they don't really think of it as like a trilogy, and it's more of a long movie because it picks up immediately off of each other. The way it runs.
Yeah, they'll do. Yeah,
because that's like the whole point. I think it's not like Men in Black where like the first movie they kill the cockroach and it immediately goes into the second movie and they're like, oh my god, where's Agent K gone? Like he's disappeared suddenly after we defeated this cockroach. No, it's like very different. There's time skips and gaps between them, but with Back to the Future, isn't it just like they literally pick off after each thing, after each ending?
Yeah, they do. Which helped because I mind one of the times I watched them, I actually I pulled an all-nighter and I sat and watched all three of them back to back to back. It was very enjoyable.
I can imagine. I don't think I've ever pulled an all-nighter with movies. Like, whenever I like pull an all-nighter or like a late night with watching stuff, it's always like a TV show. Because I can always go at the end of the episodes like, I can stop. But am I? Another one of mine is not the old trilogy, but the more modern trilogy of Planet of the Apes. With from 2009 till now, so like Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War of the Planet of the Apes. You've watched the first two of this trilogy. The third one I need to get you to watch. I think it's the best of the three, honestly. I really like how it pans around with it.
Yeah.
Same with Jurassic World. These new trilogies and you not watching the third one. What are you, Valve? Oh wait, no, Jurassic World doesn't have a third one, mate. I'm talking shite. Oh my.
Not yet.
It's just the second one you haven't seen. Bloody hell. But with these three movies, the first one's a really good start to the trilogy. I really like Rise of the Planet Apes with James Franco's character raising Caesar and all that. and having Draco Malfoy's character from Harry Potter being a cunt in this film and all, with the the cattle prod and the whole like aspect that they're getting smarter and there's a disease, or the whole like uprising. It's very like, I don't know if it's a philosophical film, but it's like very like thematic in its way of telling that you need to be careful who you treat and how you treat people. And obviously, like, I think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is probably the weakest of the three in my opinion, but still very solid. It deals with like, oh, they've built their culture. The apes have built their culture. The humans are like, they're not like entirely gone, let alone like Willard yet, but they're like still a prominent force to be dealt with. That's the whole thing with this film, and what was it, Caesar dealing with treachery and deception and all that sort of stuff. It also has a lot of funny moments in it. And the third one, which I won't say much about, is I just think it's the best directed. It has Woody Harrelson in it. I think he's a really good actor.
Yes, he is.
And generally, I really enjoyed that movie for its characters. But it's such a solid trilogy, and I look forward to what they're going to do next, because I'm pretty sure they're going to do another film. If I'm
They're
not
not
mistaken.
finished.
No.
Well, one of the other ones I have is a comedy, Austin Powers. And
Oh
that,
my.
oh, the humor in that just always gets me. And it's just, it feels like it's sketch after sketch after sketch of like all these scenes.
Oh my god.
Every single part is just hilarious. There's always something. Like even they've done it, and I think they've done it in all three. The
Oh my god, like the long
scenes
string.
were like the shadow. I was gonna say.
Oh, the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
The shadow scenes.
I
Where it's
don't
like,
know if that was in the third.
No.
I know the
No.
first two you're talking about. Oh wait, no,
Uh-huh.
the third one might. It's to do with Mini-Me, innit?
Yeah,
the second
Mini-Me.
one.
I can't remember what.
Well,
There's a couple
I think
different
they're
ones.
on three. Whatever.
I think it's a repeating joke kind of with the shadow, and it's meant to be like, oh, they're just doing something normal, you know. But because of the way the shadows line up, it looks like they did something absolutely dirty.
Yeah. Then there's
like with a Mini-Me, it's like giving birth to Mini-Me.
Yeah, and
the guy's like, oh.
The first one we're on the beach in a tent, and then the minions are looking through, and it looks like she's taking like a massive like water tank out of his ass.
Just pulling stuff out of his ass.
Then there's the other running
the smoke
joke.
bomb as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The other running joke pose. I don't know if they're on all three now that I think about it, but it's when they're doing the cutaways to like multiple people saying, it's like, "Is that a big?" And it cuts to the next person saying something that sounds like penis.
Yeah.
Or boobies.
Yeah. Or like cuts to I'll cut to someone talking to someone else called like Richard, but he's calling him Dick.
Oh my god.
Is that a big Dick? Are you seeing this?
Oh my. Oh my god. Those are massive watermelons. Look at those watermelons.
Every scene, just like if you were to get highlight reel, it would literally just be the entire trilogy. I believe.
Yeah.
It just stands tall to me, and I don't think any of them. That's the thing with like a lot of trilogies. There tends to be like maybe one that'll be not as good as the others, or one that'll be above the rest. You know. But I think all three of them,
bit like,
are just as good as each other.
Yeah. Yet again, from that trilogy, the second one's my favourite. Mostly because it introduced a fat bastard. I think it's second one's the introduced fat bastard. And Mini-Me.
Yes.
My poor man's Vern Troyer. Rest in peace. Austin Powers is it's just incredible. Mike Myers playing like 3 to 4 different people at certain times in that bloody franchise. My other trilogy is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
And It's a weird one now that I think about bringing it up because I completely forgot that there's the fourth and the fifth one.
Yeah, it's gone past that original
Yeah.
3.
I almost mistook the third one for the fourth one for a second. I was about to say, oh, I don't like that one, but no, the first three I do really like the first three because the first one's Dead Man's Chest, is it? It's something, and it's to do with the
Ah.
Black Pearl and skeleton bloody mothers in the night, and
Mm-hmm.
that one's a generally funny one. It introduces us to Sparrow, Captain Jack Sparrow, in a really unique way with him coming off his boat as it's sinking. And it leads to him eventually saving what's her name, Elizabeth, from drowning, which only gets him arrested, which leads on to the undead invading the island. The second one, yet again, probably my favourite of the fucking trilogies. There's something about the second ones with these bloody trilogies.
Yeah.
Because I think the second one is the one where they build upon what's good about the film and they add on to it. So they've got that things and they add more unique things to it. Because you got the second one with Davy Jones appears in it, and he appears in the third one as well. He's like a staple to those two movies. But I really like Davy Jones. I really like the whole like pirate mythology they've got going on. Obviously, Captain Jack Sparrow. You never know what he's thinking. He's a drunkard. Where's all the rum gone? Best thing.
Yeah, he's got a jar of heart.
A jar of heart.
A jar
of sand.
A jar of sand with a heart.
Does it have a heart?
Yes.
I don't mind this.
Didn't it?
I don't think so.
Was it in the
research team
sand?
go? Is it because it is like I've got a jar of sand. I've got a jar of sand.
It's been a while since I've seen them, so.
No, it's a jar of dirt.
Yeah, I've got a jar of dirt.
It's not a heart or sand. the jar of dirt. I've got.
It had something in it though. I can't remember what it is.
Oh, here's a page. Here's a page on our wiki dedicated to a jar of dirt. Let's have a look. Was a glass jar filled with dirt. That's it. That's literally it. Well, there's the mystery solved on the Pint Power episode, whether the jar of dirt had a heart in it. It's just a jar of dirt. Alright, well, that's Pirates of the Caribbean. It's just about pirates doing piracy.
Yeah.
Folk. And whatever. It's just random. It's literally just Jack Sparrow minding his own business with loot and rum, and some bastard comes along and is like, bro, I hate you.
I have another trilogy here that's not actually a film trilogy, and it is the Modern Warfare series, the classic Call of Duties. No, not the classic, you know. The popular Call of Duties. Very popular series, and I think, yes, that's probably my favourite campaigns out of all of them. You know, I think a lot of people do like the Black Ops ones as well. And so do I. But Black Ops 3's campaign is a bit underwhelming, so I'm not going to include that as a trilogy. But the whole Modern Warfare series, you know, with the Price, you know, Soap, Makarov, you got absolute iconic characters, and the way it's told, and the missions that you go on, are just so incredible to me. Anyway, I think it's they're fan loved as well. You know, many people love them. Even recently, Modern Warfare 2 got its campaign remastered. And you know, obviously COD 4 as well got the entire game remastered.
Yeah.
So I've played those again, and surprisingly, I didn't place it in my replayability as those campaigns. But I think just from the start, right up until where you know it's just Price with his cigar.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. Truly fantastic. What about you? You preferred the Black Ops campaigns, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Like, there's obviously different facets you can like decide in which it was your favorite of a trilogy. Like, I didn't have Black Ops on my trilogy,
No.
but it could have been. It would have been a perfect trilogy if Black Ops 3's campaign was any fucking good.
It was so ass.
Like, everything else about that game was like, even multiplayer I wasn't a fan of that much. I played a lot of it, but I think there's a lot of like chaotic, like it had like that Modern Warfare 2 chaos feel to it for me that I didn't
Yeah.
like. Like, I like more balanced games, which is why Black Ops 1 and 2 are phenomenal games in my books. I like the campaign for Black Ops 1, my favourite Call of Duty campaign. I like Zombies, one of my favourite zombies. I like the multiplayer, one of my favourite multiplayers, like the whole Cold War aspect of it.
Yeah.
Black Ops 2, yet again, all free. Really liked it. That's Black Ops 2, that's multiplayer where I started actually doing not too bad KD wise as well. But for my trilogies, for my last one, it's not a game, it's not a movie, not even a TV series. It's from a book series that I read since I was young, and it's Darren Shan. Which is it can be complicated. I don't know whether you can class it as a trilogy within the books because it's from a set of 12 books from Darren Shan, and each of the books have like their own like sort of saga. So like the first three are based upon city base, and then the next three are like to do with a mountain, vampire mountain, which is my trilogy that I chose is Vampire Rights. Is three books which are specifically based within Vampire Mountain, which is like in lore where vampires go to for like their summoning, their summons. It's like their political place that they go to for like meetings and that. Which just really like I liked a lot because it's called Vampire Rights because the main character Darren is a I don't even know if he's a half vampire at that point. He's barely a vampire. He's got vampire blood in him because he's going for rights because he's young and he needs to be counted as a fully fledged vampire. He needs to go for these rites, and it's just so tense. Like there's a rite where he has to climb a wall full of spikes, similar to that of a cave, but they come out from the side of it, and they're barbed, heavily barbed. So every time you go to grab and climb, your hands will be cut up, and he has to climb through this entire wall, which is like a few miles long. And you're just like, oh, it's this grueling. It's like tense, and that's what I really liked about them. Like you get to see this young child's like struggle through the entirety of it, and you see him like grow throughout the three books, and more vampires start accepting them, sort of that stuff. It's like really like you come to like see the respect and like world building in these books. There's a lot more I could talk about because, as I said, it's a set of 12 books with like each saga having 3 books to themselves. So there's a total of 4 sagas I could talk about. But I think Vampire Rights one was really good. I think that finishes.
That's your last one, is it?
Yeah.
Now, my last one, sort of cheating, but it's not. It's a trilogy of trilogies, if you can count that. Star Wars, you know, the whole series of Star Wars. So obviously you've got I don't know if I could pick between them because they're so unique between each other, you know. With the originals just standing as incredible films, and you know what kicked it all off. You know, there's a lot to that, but with the prequels, while hated by many, the lightsaber duels and the fighting in that, it was intense. There was a lot of it in that, you know, which was a complete change of pace to the original trilogy. And to be honest, even the new trilogy, I think there's as much lightsaber fighting in the new one. A few good parts. There's definitely some good scenes, you know, with Last Jedi, Very hated. That's the thing with Star Wars. There's so many of these are hated. But I enjoyed like every single film, to be honest. But the fighting in Last Jedi, where it's Rey and Kylo
Mm-hmm.
in the throne room, I think it is. Bit of spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen, but yeah, it's the bit where your man gets chopped in half, and then they're fighting the knights. That was a beautiful scene, absolutely beautiful scene, and the actual choreography was impressive, I thought. But just as a trilogy of trilogies, the whole Skywalker saga,
Yeah.
just it's so enjoyable to me. There's something special about it that has me interested, and yeah, that's my last trilogy. There's a lot you can talk about with Star Wars, but I won't delve into it. I won't go in there, go in that direction. So move away from the favorite trilogies and move on to our next topic.
Yes. Moving down another number.
Working our way down, it's iconic, another number. So from trilogies to jewels, iconic jewels. Would you like to start us with one of your favorites?
Sure, I will start off with the main jewel, the famous jewel from Scrubs, JD and Turk. They are, in my opinion, what makes them a really good duo is how they play off each other as like such bros. Like you get the same like sort of like bro manship from like Ted and Marshall, except for me don't like Ted, so. But this is where it works. Like you like JD and you like Turk, and they really like they pull it off really well. Like Turk's it's more like masculine, like dancey man who's a surgeon, whereas you got JD who's more like the doctor who prescribes things and checks out stuff and like judges what's better for a patient to have. They play off really well. They're roommates. It's just there's not much to describe about it apart from like they really play well off each other. Like Turk being more like louder, JD being more like yeah man, sort of like not mumbling, but sort of like he's not like loud enough to be like warranted as like enthusiastic sounding. I think a lot of characters in that show really like bounce off each other really well with JD and Dr. Cox. I really like Dr. Cox, but I think the thing that shines for that show is the duo between them two. Aye.
So that's your first. Is it bad that when you were going to say JD and Turk, for a second you can say JD and Coke, as in Jack Daniels?
Oh my god.
Which is, I guess, an iconic duo,
Like rum and coke.
Rum and Coke, yeah. Fucking
Vodka lemonade.
salt and pepper, vodka lemonade. Got tons of fucking jewels that you could mention that are
Red Bull
items.
heart attacks.
Oh. Let's not go there. But one of the first ones I've got listed, and I've mentioned the show many times already. But Sam and Dean from Supernatural.
Okay.
I think they work really well as a duo. Just the way they bounce off each other, because they're very different, but they've got this sort of unbroken bond that just lasts. I mean, they obviously are actual brothers, and even with the storyline of Supernatural, it's destiny. That these two are brothers, and
Yeah.
their counterparts being Lucifer and Michael. So it's destiny that they are the brothers and that they're this duo, and they work very well in the show. I think a lot of that is not just down to the characters, but to the actors themselves.
Yeah.
Jared Padalecki and
Like there's a lot of like
Jensen Ackles.
There's a lot of things you can point. Like I think what people don't like a lot from duos is if they're way too similar, which is where Sam and Dean don't have that problem. Is you have one's tall, one's not short, but one's tall, long hair, one's shorter, like short hair. One likes to eat fast food burgers and pies,
Yeah,
which are not
the
too
other one's eating
healthy. One's
salads.
more healthy, and it's like you shouldn't be eating that. One's more sensible and book smart. That one's more like I need to get down to it. I've got the experience, sort of like I'm the
Yeah.
brawn, he's the brains. Even though they're both
Yeah.
just as physically fit and strong,
Mm-hmm.
and they're both very capable of researching what they need to do. It's like their personalities really bounce off each other. One's more rash, one's more sensible. However, that can be flippant depending on the circumstance they're in, from what I've
Definitely.
watched.
Definitely. And they've certainly butted heads a few times. But again, that's sort of what makes them, I guess.
Is that common for mooses?
For mooses. Yeah.
This is just reindeer.
So. Who is it? It's Crowley. And in Crowley's phone, he always calls Sam Moose, and then in his phone he's got Dean down as not Moose, which is it's incredible.
There's one other duo in that. Well, you could call it as a trio, but there's one other like main duo in that, being like Cass and Dean. But like the main duo, like the franchise staple duo is Sam and Dean. I do like seeing them as like a trio as Cass, Sam, and Dean. Like I've always liked that trio as well.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot.
But like the vast majority of the show as a duo is Sam and Dean. It'll always be Sam and Dean.
Mm-hmm.
They have like the most screen time together as like on set characters.
Who else have you got?
One's like a lot more of a childhood thing, being the Chuckle Brothers from Chucklevision. Legends, absolute legends of British TV. They're is it a sketch show? It's more like situation comedy as well, where they get up to antics like I can't even remember a lot of the episodes. It's been such a long time, but it's like ingrained in my head that they're funny. One's like he's the small pathetic funny one. Another one's like come on, to me, to you, to me, to you. Like one like falls over, probably like the smaller one, the thinner one. Like clearly one's more of a leader. It's just that works well as a duo because they whatever they get into, one's gonna like cause a major mistake, and they'll get into a situation. I think that's the thing with To Me To You is they're always carrying something. Like it's always carrying something. They're carrying a couch. To me, to you, to me, to you.
It's so good. I mean, they definitely are a favourite from childhood.
Oh, that's something I haven't really literally haven't seen since
just
I was a child.
Just the hello.
Hello. Their
Always
bloody
brings a
South
smile
Park
to the face.
smile, their triangle smiles.
Do you remember it was it must have been like 2015, 2014 when Chuckle Brothers did a song with bloody Tinchy Strider.
Oh yeah.
It was like To Me To You, bruv.
Oh my god. They're also in Celebrity Juice.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, now I think about it, the thinner one has passed away.
Yeah,
was that recently?
It was.
Because the one that's still alive, he's a horn dog, man. He gets around.
It was Barry that passed away in 2018.
So, yeah, because the one that's still alive is like he's a player, absolute player in what 60s or something. Paul, he's definitely got those vibes.
Absolute player. Yeah, that's the thing. Even outside the show, they were still such a legendary duo. You cannot say one of them without the other. You know, they're tied together. And one of the other iconic duos I've got is Jack and Victor from Still Game.
Oh yes.
Which there's something special about that show, really. You know, the Scottish patter, the Scottish humour. With a what was it, the Klansman?
And they come in and they always call Bobby something.
They got a running joke where they always say something to Bobby.
And Bobby tries to like Like of a reboot, and he's just like, Batman and Robin, he just
That's the
fails.
thing. It sort of cements that they are such an iconic duo because Bobby's always calling them just a duo, like obviously Batman and Robin.
Yeah, like even like when they come in,
He said a few different things
even when they
over the
come,
episodes.
yeah, even when they come in, and they don't even call him anything, they'll just be like, 2 pints prick. That's like that's the most memorable thing for me. 2 pints prick.
Did I prick? Puts the fingers up as well. They bounce really well off of each other
Yeah.
as well. You know, what one of them will say something humorous or you know snarky or something like that, and the other one will chime in something.
Oh, aye.
They work really well with each other in conversation with others.
It's that thing again. Like one's taller, one's fatter, one's smaller. Sort of
Yeah.
like that thing. It's like I think what I can remember from their differences being like Jack's a bit more like not so humble, but he likes eating, he likes his smoke, he likes his
Mm-hmm.
pipe, and then Victor's the more like
Pipe.
taller one, and he's a bit more like not snarky, but like a bit more rude than Jack is.
Mm-hmm.
They just really meld well with each other. Like when they get into like
They
a
do.
piss up and they just trash talk some man, they roast him.
Mm. Oh my god. I like the PlayStation. Do you like the PlayStation? There's some iconic lines in this.
Oh my god. Oh my god, when like
They've
Jack's going
delivered.
up the stairway to heaven to meet his wife, and then Victor just pops in and is like,
No,
oh.
you're not going anywhere.
Was it piss off ghost? Or is that,
Aye.
oh, it's not that. Oh, it's something.
Back off, you spooky bitch.
Yeah, back off, you spooky bitch! That's it. Piss off ghost is Ragnarok.
That's yeah.
Back off, you spooky
Incredible
bitch.
stuff.
Phenomenal.
Who else have you got?
I've got, from Disney's Lilo and Stitch, like literally in the name, Lilo and Stitch duo.
Mm-hmm.
But like, they really would do well together. Like in the film, you've got like Stitch and Alien who comes down, evil experiment. You've got Lilo, an 8-year-old or so child who doesn't know much about the world, but has like a grip on who she is. Like her parents have died. She's come to grips with it. She needs her routine. Then obviously there's a whole falling out, and then the next day, Nanny takes her little sister Lilo down to the animal shelter, to which she goes in and finds Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
And just the minute they meet there, there's this like sort of like dynamic they have, where like she's showing Stitch around, and every time she's showing Stitch to somebody, Stitch is getting up some antics where she's like seemingly nonchalant, and Stitch is like somewhere like ripping apart something and making a bloody starts playing the guitar as Elvis sort of stuff.
Ah.
When I think my favourite one is when early in the morning Lilo takes Stitch into her sister's room, and she wakes Nanny up, and she's like, look what Stitch can do. And she's just looking at Stitch, opens Stitch's mouth, and he's suddenly starting playing music like a record player. And the look in Nanny's face is like, what the fuck did I bring into my family's life?
No.
What do you mean? And the Ohana means family, that whole thing, like, you're like, oh, yeah. It's always wholesome. Stitch has changed for the better. I just really like that duo. Wholesome duo.
It is very wholesome.
Another one from you.
I have John Lennon and Paul McCartney as another iconic duo.
Paul the Ball is Life McCartney.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah, they obviously are huge, absolutely huge in the music scene for being definitely the two most popular in the Beatles, and obviously you've got Ringo Starr and George Harrison as well. But for the majority of what the Beatles wrote, it was between John and Paul, and even tried to like outwrite each other. They were trying to write faster than the other, trying to write more songs. You know, they were quite competitive, but at the same time, good friends. And there's obviously a lot of stories. There's falling out, and all this, but they do stand as an iconic duo. You know, where a lot of the time you will, if you go to think of one, you'll think of the other because of how much they did with the Beatles. You know, Beatles being just one of the biggest bands probably of all time. You know, and like even I can't mind where it was. They did a gig. One of the first gigs they did in America, I think it was. They went onto a show, and they, as they started playing, because the crowd was so loud, like all the fangirls, and you know, they were so loud and absolutely screaming that the whole band couldn't hear what they were playing at all. Like not at all. Like so they were just solely going off of just watching each other as well. You know, I'm trying to gauge it off the groove. But yeah, just as a duo, they're one of my personal favorites as well. Just the way they wrote as well, you know, just there's a lot to them. Very very interesting people, and they're very different too, which is why they butt heads at certain points. What's your last?
My last
duo?
one is one that I have a lot of experience with. I've read a lot of issues of Deadpool, a lot, and obviously you have the movies. Like the second one is the one that introduced this duo. Is Cable and Deadpool. So you got Cable Summers. No, Nathan Summers. Cable is his superhero name or nickname. Is Nathan Summers being Cyclops' grandson or son? I don't know why it's escaping me. But he's related to him. And he's from the future. Like he came back to the past. And he's just somehow found himself constantly being trapped with Deadpool as a partner. Or just having him around. Which there's a certain point where he starts not minding it, and he actually considers Deadpool like a really good friend. Of which you see this like character arc in Deadpool 2. Like he's like literally at the start of the film when Cable like is in the prison, he breaks my man's back and it's like, you better back off, I'm gonna kill this child. And then by the end of the movie they're a lot more like humorous with each other. Not like quite at that wholesome level the comics are at. But I just really like the dynamics, like this hard, gritty man who's like the absolute like epitome of like, I'm serious, I'm here to change the past, blah blah blah, I've got a disease that's killing me. And then you got Deadpool who's like, yo, I can't die, I'm funny dubstep man. I talk about dubstep during my movie scenes. It's like Skrillex, what is this, 2012? Those films are phenomenal. Can't wait to see more.
They are good.
But Cable and Deadpool, I think, is a really great dynamic because, as I said, for a good duo, you need to have like water and oil. You need to have bounce at each other, whatever. And I really like how they went through the history of them in the comics with Cable constantly finding himself he doesn't mind Deadpool at all, but he constantly finds himself encountering him during a mission in the past that he goes back to, and you're just like, he just accepts it. It's funny. I think there's a point where Cable's teleporting powers get mixed up with Deadpool's teleporting device, and it's just caused him to teleport whenever he goes to teleport. So he's fully trapped. Not even Deadpool wants this to happen, but he's like, well, we gotta live with it. I think out of all the duos I've named there, I think Cable and Deadpool might be my favourite. I just really like the stories they've had. And well, if that finishes me off, let's see about finishing your duos off.
Yeah, my last duo is actually quite different, and the reason I say that is it's a partnership in football, a very popular, famous partnership, and I've gone with Xavi and Iniesta. So if anyone who doesn't like football, they're like, oh, I can't be into this. But yeah, for people who are fans of football, you'll know them. Yeah. For people who are fans of football, you'll know them. Absolutely, just they've been together. They've played together since for well over a decade. I think Xavi was at Barcelona. I think he started playing for Barcelona from the early 2000s, or even 99, 98. And then Iniesta, I think, started playing roughly the same time, 2000, 2001 time. So and they've played together at Barcelona from then all the way up until I think Xavi left in 2015. But that them as a partnership, middle of the park, it's just the sheer quality between them and their ability to pass just outrageously.
Mm.
You know, if you've watched them play, they blend so well together, and they sort of really helped with the upbringing of Messi. You know, and what made Messi Messi. It definitely helped in assisting. But it wasn't just with Barcelona that they were playing together. You know, they played together with Spain for absolutely years, and you know, there's been tons of partnerships that people might mention, but for one that's lasted so long, you know, I think this is probably the most well-known one there is. Well-known partnership. You always think of the other if you go and mention one of their names, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they played really well with Spain during like a very dominant era where they won the World Cup as well. I think they won the Euros either side of that World Cup. I think so. I can't quite remember, but the trophies that they have won together, both club and country, is just incredible. You know, they accomplished so much, and they're part of a very dominant era for both Spain and Barcelona. Very, very.
I see.
That finishes iconic duels then.
Moves us on to one-note actors. We're coming close to
The
zero.
last topic.
Yes. Do you want to start us off?
Aye, sure. I'll start us off, and I'll mention Seth Rogen. I'll mention Seth Rogen's one. I really like Seth Rogen. I think I mentioned this before. Actually, I've got like a soft spot for that sort of humor that he does, and all of the films that he's in, he's very much just he is himself. He is Seth Rogen, you know. He is that like stoner person, and I've seen quite a few of his films. Like I don't think I've seen every single one, but I've seen a good majority of them. So I would say he very much does act the same way, you know. Doesn't matter particularly what his name is in the film, but some of the people he plays as in the film's a bit more outrageous. Like for example, the the Christmas film that they did, The Night Before, is it called?
Yes.
Yeah. In that one, he's still, yet again, very much plays as Seth Rogen himself. But there's points in that film where he's obviously like absolutely high on drugs, like all kinds of drugs, and he's just, you know, he's going off his rocker. Like the scene where he's in the toilet.
Oh my god.
And he's like filming his phone because he's like so off of his face and like coke, and he's just like shouting about this. I can't remember what it is about a baby. Is it?
Oh my god. Yeah, he's talking about baby and how he doesn't want. I think he doesn't want to have it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that's brilliant.
It's a funny scene. Yeah, that's like the most outrageous I would say he's acted.
Because doesn't it
but
go?
It's still him.
Because doesn't it go like he's talking about the baby and he's like, "I don't want you, baby. Fuck, fuck," and it just cuts to him saying, "Cunt." Oh my god, it's just out of nowhere that ended.
I was in stitches when I seen that scene. Oh. But yeah, I would say so. I would say him. Who else have you got? What's your first?
I have Michael Cera. I really like Michael Cera. Like, he's definitely he meets this very quiet, awkward, like teen sort of thing. He looks like he's never hit puberty. sort of like thing. Every
Yeah,
movie he's
even
been in,
still,
I like his character. Every TV show he's been in, I like his character. Like we've got Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I really like him in that film. Really like complements the character he's trying to play.
fantastic film actually.
Fantastic film.
Hmm.
Of course, it's fantastic. It's Edgar Wright that directed it. What do you think? He might have written for it instead of directed for once, but it had Edgar Wright to do with the film. God.
Oh.
But he was in what's the other one? Arrested Development. I really liked him in that. Really
Mhm.
awkward. He's literally plays the same character. That's all he does. Is like
Yeah, it's him in it.
he sort of stutters, sort of like character. He's never really played the confident one. I feel like his
He
evolved
was in
form is like
Juno.
yes. It's a movie I don't want to watch, to be honest. But I feel like his evolved form would be Jesse Heisenberg. Like his evolved form where he can actually speak without stuttering. Because
There's the meme of like the Pokemon evolutions, and it's Michael Cera into Jesse
Heisenberg
Eisenberg.
into Adam Driver. Or something like that. Into like Keanu Reeves.
Mhm.
But no, like from what I've seen him in, he's always the same. But I don't think that's bad. Like he's got his staple character. Some people just get famous. Like he obviously, I don't know if he did anything before Scott Pilgrim that made him famous, apart from might have been Juno. But like he was obviously hired to do that role because he fit that role. But he's not that great at versatility. But that's okay because he got that popularity and he's getting into those different roles that
Mhm.
he's supposed to be in.
I remember seeing a joke, and it was like Michael Cera always seems like he wasn't meant to be there, but he just appeared, and he's rolling with it.
He's always like that person who is just standing trying to get a drink at a bar, but he's ended up in the conversation for some reason, and he's just like, yeah, man, yeah.
One of the other one-note actors I've got down.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a massive one, both in build and actor status, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, there's absolutely tons of classic action films that he's featured in. You know, and they're, I would say, they're very enjoyable films. He's an enjoyable actor to watch. You know, all the stuff, but he is just himself. He plays as that same role, and I wouldn't particularly say he's very good, but it doesn't mean it's not enjoyable.
Like I think his best like acting role he's done like generally like as an actor is probably Terminator, the Terminator films.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Where else you've got him in the likes like Last Action Hero or Christmas Carol and all that sort of films where he's like, or his absolute worst one. I just can't believe I remind myself of that is when he played bloody Mr. Freeze. When he played Mr. Freeze, and he was like, "Oh, welcome to the Ice Age." Just the Austrian accent didn't help him. Like he has a phenomenal, he led a phenomenal life, and I like his behind the scenes stuff. But as an actor itself, he's just not.
He's not quite good.
When he was really young, when he was still quite fit, like really young, like 16, he used to sell bricks, I think. Sort of things, and that's how he made his money a lot of the time. Obviously, then he got hired to do bigger stuff.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell why. It's a bit like there's a few others. I'm pretty sure you'll mention them, but another one of mine would be like Jonah Hill. Like I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I very much dislike this man. I have
You're not a fan of him, are you?
no.
He's in a fair few films.
He's been in good films, but he's not a reason why that film's been good. I would say like any scene he's in, like he's just very awkward, unfunny. The only time I found myself even laughing at anything to do with him actually is Megamind, and that's when he's a voice actor. And that's completely different from normal acting because you're given a script and they do the script multiple times with him to speak it instead of having to be in a room like acting it. is he played like the main villain, like the guy that gets his powers, and he's quite funny. He's got funny jokes, and it suits what he's doing. And the character itself actually looks like Jonah Hill. But and his other roles like this, the end, 21 Jump Street, and all that is just incredibly unfunny. He's like the male version of that bird that's always like I think her name's Jeanette something like in that movie Spy and all that. Jeanette McCurdy, is it? Just go away, please. He's lost a lot of weight recently, actually. Though. Fair play to that.
Yeah. My next one. it might trigger some people. It might, but yeah, we had a brief chat about this one actually before we went to record, and I've got down Samuel L. Jackson. Now, there's obviously tons of films that he's featured in, and I haven't seen all of them, not at all. So it's probably not one that he's probably not one who is a one-note actor. But for me, from what I've seen, you know, with the character he plays as in Pulp Fiction, you know.
I think it's
in Avengers. There's one of the ones I've seen, Hitman's Bodyguard. He's in.
He's definitely
Django Unchained.
A Jim Carrey case where he's hired to be on the film to do that role that he's famous for instead of something different. And then you see a movie like The Number 23 where he's a completely different actor. There's been so many films he's been in where he's the same, where it can be different. It's the same with Samuel L. Jackson. He's been hired to do the one role, which he differs from like Jonah Hill and Michael Cera, where they are unable to act any differently. You got like a film that you've yet to see, which I'm still trying to get you to watch, is Kingsman. He's very different in that film. You'll see what I mean when you go to watch it. He's very different.
Yeah. I'll probably change my opinion once I see that film. But
possibly, but that's the thing.
He has that character that he plays, and he plays it very well. You know,
I would say is the motherfucker character he plays.
Yeah, the motherfucker character. Although he doesn't quite say it in Avengers, he is still that.
He does in one of Avengers, almost.
Sort of.
Infinity War at the very end. You motherfucker.
And then he
disintegrates.
But yeah, he's got that character, and you're right, and a lot of people will hire him to portray that character. But if you're saying he's definitely got a lot more range to him,
he's capable of
his films. Then he's definitely capable. I'll need to watch more of them. But yeah, just from the stuff I've seen, it's just that.
I haven't seen anything with Ryan. Like my next was Ryan Reynolds. I haven't seen anything in it where he's acted that different. Like he's normally just like pretty much Deadpool in every film I've seen him in. Like R.I.P.D. Like he's always like the quick-witted, like sort of like like ass sort of like character. Where else like at least with like
he is Deadpool.
He is Deadpool.
He's not even playing Ryan Reynolds.
He just is. He's Wade Wilson.
Playing Ryan Reynolds. He's playing Wade Wilson. He is Wade Wilson.
He is Wade Wilson. He just hasn't got cancer yet. He's yet to be
a lot of films
he's yet to be an older avocado fucking another avocado.
Oh boy.
But yeah, Ryan Reynolds, I really enjoy his roles from what I've seen. There's a few movies where I'm like, I don't like the movie, so it doesn't really help that he's in it. Like, I know a few people that really like R.I.P.D. Like, I'm not that much of a fan of it. It's okay, I don't dislike it, but like, meh. But I like him so much in like Deadpool and Hitman's Bodyguard and that. There's been a few things he's been in.
Yeah, there's some roles as well where he's quite limited in what he can say.
Yes.
Because especially with Deadpool, he can definitely portray that.
He never stops talking.
Yeah.
Like he voices Detective Pikachu in Detective Pikachu as well, actually, which many fans were like, should have been Danny DeVito. To be fair, he's also never one-note actor. Now that I think about it, sort of. I wouldn't classify him that actually, because like In Always Sunny, he's just fucked. He's just like inane. And then in Matilda, he's like the da, more strict. But the way his voice and tone goes, you can't really change that. But aye.
Well, I have. And I think out of my list I've got, this is the actor I dislike the most, and it's Jason Statham. I find him very much a one-note actor. He plays as the same type of elitist, not elitist, elite like shooter, elite killer. You know, he's always got like suits and guns, and
sort of like Tom Cruise.
Places. Yeah, he's always involved in like crazy car scenes or revenge plots, stuff like that. I've seen a fair few of his films, and it's always that same.
How do you know
type
he's in
of
the
character.
Pink Panther?
Oh, really?
He's in Call of Duty as well. He's voiced. As well. I haven't seen a lot of his films, to be honest. Like, I don't dislike him. He's definitely a one-note actor from what I've seen. A lot of people really enjoy seeing him on the screen. Like,
yeah, if you're into those like action type films,
I think he's a character that's always in Expendables.
Yes, he is.
I think apart from voice acting, he really is just the same character in most films.
I think it's more of just like a personal thing that I dislike him. Just like his voice as well.
So you're talking about your most that's not you wouldn't consider it a controversial. Your controversial one was Samuel Jackson. Mine will probably trigger a lot of people. Is Vin Diesel. I think he's very much a one-note actor. I've definitely never really liked him as an actor. I've watched a lot of the Fast and Furious films. Very reluctantly, pretty much not my choice, to be fair. Like the family be like, oh, watch this. I liked Tokyo Drift, which is funny enough the film that doesn't have him in it. But Vin Diesel is, I'm not really like a fan of him really. Like I liked Riddick. I liked those films. It's okay. He's in this like Fable film where he's like a really old guy who just doesn't die. I don't know. I don't think he's terrible. He's just not that entertaining for me.
No.
That's all I have to really say about him there. Like, maybe there's a film up there he's been in and I haven't seen it. He's just amazing in it. But it's just boring for me.
Well, my last one, my last one on my list is also another Baldy, and it is The Rock. The thing about The Rock is there's a lot of people that don't like him as well. Although I would say the majority people would like him. I feel like anyway, because he's involved in so many like top Hollywood films just now. You know, he's featured in an absolute ton.
A lot of these
one-note actors personally, I enjoy him.
Well, a lot of these one-note actors we're talking about seem like they're just in the Expendables. I feel like The Rock could easily be in Expendables 4. Like he's just like you've got Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham. You got all these actors who are very one-notey.
We're just picking out the cast of Expendables.
Expendables 4.
But yeah, I've seen quite a few of The Rock's films. You know, with Jumanji, Central Intelligence.
A movie I've yet to see, Jumanji.
Really?
I've yet to see both films.
I mean, to see the second one. The trailer looks good.
We went to see Baywatch.
Yes, that's another one of his.
That was a weird one. Like we barely ever got to cinema to see anything that is non-comic book, nor like just really good looking. We just were like, fuck it, let's go see Baywatch in cinema. So random. It was pretty funny. I don't know.
And yeah, there's obviously a lot of older films with The Rock. The infamous Scorpion King.
Oh my god, that would have ruined his career. He's so lucky that didn't ruin his career. It just made it more infamous.
Um,
Oh,
there's what else is there? Race to Witch Mountain.
that spurred a
There
big
was
meme.
San Andreas.
Uh,
Yeah, he's been in quite a few films. And what's the one? The Other Guys. He featured in The Other Guys for brief, like the first bit of the film,
I know the Will Ferrell
which
one.
is yeah, it's Will Ferrell and
Mark Wahlberg. Is it Mark Wahlberg?
yes,
Alright.
yes, yeah, Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, I enjoy his stuff, to be honest. I do enjoy his the films he's in. So it's I think he's a very likable guy. Like even outside of the films, he's a very likable guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was a likable wrestler during his time with WWE as well. He was a fan favorite, so it's no surprise he's still popular amongst
Yeah.
many. He voiced in Moana too,
Oh yeah,
which
that's probably
is
my favorite role of his. Funnily enough.
mhm.
Yeah, again, that's hard. Not because it's animation, no. Because
I just realised I have one more after this actually.
do you want to just get away
Yes,
with just do that
I
one?
shall. Yeah. So my actual last one, and it's Dwayne Johnson. Now I'm not sure what films that he's been in, or if it's him or The Rock. I'm not
Was he not?
entirely too
Was he
sure.
not
But
famous for cooking something?
uh,
Or is his brother?
maybe, maybe, but
Was he like? Was he not a wrestler? Is like where else the Rock's like an actor? Like his brother's a wrestler.
yeah, that's the one. Mm-hmm.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
That's it. So what is your last one?
Um,
Let's round this episode off.
very good. No negative connotations with what I've seen with this one at all. Is Morgan Freeman. Very much so.
Yeah.
Yet again, probably because they don't hire him to be anything else, rather other than I've got good voice, narrator voice. Yes. I voice God. Yeah. He's been in a lot of really good films like Shawshank Redemption. Really enjoyed that film, long film. Now You See Me, really, or is it Now You See Me 2 as well.
Yes.
I think he was in the Lego movie. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in Lucky Number 11. I watched that for the first time.
Fantastic stuff.
Few days ago, last week. Yeah, it was a really good film. He was in The Dark Knight as Lucius Fox. He was like the technician mechanic guy that gets stuff for Batman. What else was he in? He's very similar in these films, very serious. I have a really good voice. Yes.
Everyone instantly knows
He knows him.
who it is when you hear his.
Yeah, man. Like his earliest film is
We do bedtime stories.
1964. He's been going on for long ass.
A long time.
Not much else to say really. Like he's just a phenomenal actor, and I always like seeing him more stuff. To be honest.
Very good.
Yeah, well, that wraps us up, doesn't it? Yeah, there's nothing else to speak about.
That's everything.
That'll be us back on track for next week's episode. Well, which will hopefully come out Sunday, Monday time. This will come out next few days. We're recording this on a Wednesday.
It's not the usual day, is it?
Yeah, so this is this week's one episode. So like it'll be like another good 10 or so days. But this is goodbye.
Yes. Goodbye.
Chat to yous next time.